Hey everyone, I'm actually here. I apologize for the delay. The hose reel up there, when I came in tonight, the hose reel was leaking from the center hub. I don't know what the hell's going on with it. So I went to check it out, make sure it wasn't just a loose fitting or whatever. And then I had to go around the back, turn off the air compressor, and then let it drain out. So it took a couple of minutes for it to drain out. So I apologize for the delay. Otherwise, you just would have heard hissing the entire time in the background this whole time. It was a very odd sound. I didn't know what the hell it was. Um, I'm guessing that it's leaking because it's so damn cold. And um, let's see, uh, 40 something today and 24-mile-an-hour winds all day. So it averaged about 12 to 15 degrees outside all day, which sucks. That is the downside. The upside is that I'm back in my shop, and you guys can't see this, but I'll show you. I miss my toolbox. I miss my toolbox. My toolbox. All my tools. So nice to be back. And I miss my race car. Race car. Legit race car. So tonight we were going to do the new taillights that Brian DePaul picked up, but we don't have those. Brian's picking up. We have the outside taillight sections, but inside there's a cover where the bulbs go and stuff. He's picking those up on Sunday. So I'm not going to be able to do the taillights until at the very earliest on Sunday. So I apologize for that. No one is coming over tonight because it is absolutely stupid cold outside, and people they don't want to go outside. This is very different from Florida, where people are like, yeah, I'll drive 2 hours to come hang because it's not a big deal. You're not frozen solid. Here, I have both heaters running, and I've had them running all day, and it is only 56 degrees here in the shop. That tells you how cold it is. And the shop's insulated. When I did all the drywall, I put insulation up. So that's how cold it is here. It's unpleasant, but we have pleasant stuff because we're doing all the race car prep. So since we don't have people here to help out with the prep and stuff, I figured we have a ton of new subscribers here. I figured I would go through some of the stuff on the MR6, and you guys might not be familiar with the car. If you are familiar with the car, it's kind of rehashed, so I apologize, but maybe you pick up new stuff that you missed in the past. But for the new folks that are here, I just wanted to get you, kind of a basic update on, kind of the history on the car, why we built it the way we did, how come it took so damn long, and what we currently do with it, and then what we're going to do with it in the future. So I'll try and cover all of that stuff. You guys feel free to ask questions. I literally know every nut and bolt in this car. I know all of the body panels. This is actually 3 cars in one. That's how much I know about these cars. I was not expecting in my entire life. I never expected to be this well versed in first gen Toyota MR2s. They're called AW10s or AW11s, and never thought ever that I would be this well versed in these cars, but I am. And we built a really great car. It's really fantastic. Ignore this. I'll just stand in front of it, and that way you don't see it. The car is fantastic. So it started off, Craig Reed, who he owns Studio 47, and I used to race with Craig and Trina. They had me as one of their drivers for their racing team, which is a lot of fun for Studio 47. And I used to work with Craig, and I still do stuff with Craig, which is a ton of fun. Craig had an MR2 on his property that he wanted to get rid of. It had been there for years and years, trees growing through it and all that shit. And Craig said, hey, this would make a great lemons car. And I was like, what do you mean, like 24 hours of lemons? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, the $500 cars? And he's like, yeah, well, you can have the car for free. So I was like, all right, cool. So we got the red car. That was the red chassis. And we're all excited about it. We got 4AGE, which is, normally a great engine, and got to work building it. And I'll show you guys. This is something cool. You guys might not have seen this before. This is it's what I call the Big Red Book, and this has all of our receipts. But it also has, I mean, there's a tons of receipts and stuff in here. I thought someone was coming in the door. That's actually the wind blowing the garage door opener, or the huge garage door here. So started off with notes, and it's everything that I did to the car, or we did, depending on if you see other names here, other initials. So intake manifold removed, GG, that's Garrett Gunderson. There's other initials if other people did stuff. And so these are all the notes on everything that was done on the car, 1/1/19. So this is New Year's Day, 2019. So this goes on for a very long time. These are also all the receipts for everything we've purchased. The sub for fuel pump, mandatory safety. I have a roll cage in here, 6-point with door bars, $1,500 to $2,000. Blew that right out of the budget. The roll cage in this car was $3,500. That was way off. Seats, $1,500. That was about right. Fire extinguisher, $100. Yeah, but that was just for the outside one. Fire suppression system was about $1,000. Yeah, and then just receipt after receipt after receipt. And so this is the Big Red Book, and this has everything in it. So we started doing that. We started working, and the folks that were doing it everyone volunteered their time. No one got paid a dime in labor to work on this car. Had probably over the course of 5 years, we've had probably 50 different people actually working on this car. Some put in 20 minutes, some put in hundreds of hours. So it's definitely a group effort, and there's definitely a ton of people involved, which is very cool. I can't thank those folks enough for all their help. I definitely couldn't have done all this by myself. So I got to move the cover too. By the way, if you build a race car, get a nice cheap Amazon cover for $50 when it rains and stuff. You will appreciate it. I'm just going to set it up front here because we don't really need it in the car right now. And the car got rained on. That's why the seat pads are up here. They were drying because the heaters were supposed to be on while I was in Florida, but they were not. But they are dry now, which is good. Backrest first. He is in place right there. We have a single butt pad. Nice. So butt pad goes in. Sorry. Buttock release pad, relief pad. This is the right thigh. This is the left thigh. You can tell from the Velcro on them. So, okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. Now it kind of looks a little bit better. I'm bringing you guys down. There you go. So we did a ton of stuff on this car. We did a ton of, we started off with the red car. We realized very quickly that the frame is not going to be able to handle the rigors of racing, but we'd already put the roll cage in it. So I was at Cars and Coffee. I met this guy, Sean. He had this white chassis, but it was an automatic, and it had a broken windshield and a huge hit to the top of the frame on the windshield, a big impact on the impact bar, and he just wanted to get rid of the car. It also had the 4E GE, the 4-cylinder, iron block 4-cylinder. And we're like, hey, that's fine. We'll make it a manual. We'll just swap everything over. A lot easier said than done. Anytime anyone says swap, oh, well, we'll just swap it to whatever. I don't care what it is. It's a massive undertaking, huge undertaking. If you're doing it by yourself, it's a huge, huge project. If you're doing it with two people, it's just a big project. So donate it once. You hear all these guys go, oh, well, I'll just LS swap it. That's a huge endeavor for one person. Even with all the wiring harnesses and fuel systems and everything like pre-laid out for you, it's still a huge endeavor. So be very careful when you hear the word swap. It's never as easy as you think. Never, never. So we didn't have to do much major stuff except for make it a manual, and that means putting the clutch pedal in. We had wiring to do. We had to change the dash out because the dashes are different between automatic and manual. Although it's kind of ironic, we kept the automatic instrument cluster. It worked better for us. The other one was cracked. I think it was sun faded and cracked. So we got the white chassis. Here's the fun part. We cut the roof off the red car, it was a perfectly fine roof. It had a sunroof, but it wasn't super damaged like the white one. And then sorry, I take this back. We cut the roof off the white car, but we marked exactly where, we needed it to be cut. Then we cut the roof off the red car. We cut the roll cage out of the red car, lifted it up on this lift actually. And then we used motorcycle straps to pinch the feet and corner buttresses in. And then we put that in the white car. And then we took the roof from the red car and Brian Hammond TIG welded it to the white chassis. Now, normally that's a little wonky or off center or twisted. And Brian actually got it within 1 millimeter of OEM spec, which is pretty impressive. Normally the easy way to break into the MR2s is to just push in on the rear glass. You could just push in on this and the seal would fold in. That was kind of the normal way for people to do it. But this is so tight that even pushing on the polycarbonate, you can't push it in. So that's how tight it is. It's actually probably even tighter than OEM. Hey, let's see who's here. Chat disconnected. Chat successfully connected. Chat disconnected. Do I have a seriously bad connection in here? You guys are going to have to tell me. Someone can text me or whatever. Let me know if it's good or not. I can switch over to the hotspot. I don't have any messages from anyone. I just got one. Cool. Okay. It's giving me these messages about the chat not working. And with as slow as the internet's been here, it's no surprise that the chat's screwing up or the feed isn't working. So anyway, so we got the top back on, we got the cage back in the car, and all we had to do was get it running. We were having problems with what we didn't realize was the differences in wiring between 86, which is what we had with the red car, and 87, which is what we have here. There are wiring differences, and we spent a whole weekend in the frozen rain in Gingerman trying to get this car running, trying. Couldn't do it. Came back here, we noticed the two plugs, and we're like, oh, this plug needs to come over here. And on 86, it's different on this. Literally moved the plug over, plugged it in, the car started right up. So lesson learned. Again, I got to learn all this stuff about MR2s and 4AGEs and all this stuff. And that's not something that normal people know. So we got the car running, driving. It was great. We took care of the suspension. We had a whole bunch of stuff powder coated. We got the engine ran actually really fine for a while. And we did a couple of events, but we blew up 2 4AGEs. We killed one. I don't remember where we killed the first one. I think that was we killed the first one at Pit Race. And then the second one we killed in South Carolina at Carolina Motorsports Park. That one was absolutely brutal because we had passed tech. We were all ready to race. And we were driving back from getting dinner in Camden, which is the big town kind of near the track. And all of the bearings went away. And we had to flat tow it like 26 miles back to the track, which sucked. So got rid of the 4AGE, ditched that. That had, we had tried to do it. In Formula, Formula Atlantic engines are basically 4AGs. They're super hopped up. And those things run they're awesome, like 18,000 RPM and stuff. They sound great, tons of horsepower and all that. But those engines are $20,000, $25,000. You can't really do that when you're supposed to stick to a $500 budget. Oh, by the way, I bought the car from Sean for $151. That's what the title says as the purchase price. So I'm still within budget. And again, the plan was for this car to race not only in Lemons, but we could race in NASA, SCCA, SVRA, HSR, and Champ Car. So we could race it in a whole bunch of different series, and hopefully different people would take the car out at different times to different events. Um, with it being incredibly safe and having decent power, you could actually, be a contender in any one of those racing sanctions. It would be a lot of fun. And, parts are fairly cheap for this. A lot of them are kind of rare now, but parts are still fairly cheap. And it's a Toyota, they're pretty reliable. So we got it to the point of reliability, and then the engine started failing. And that's when I was like, we're done with the 4A GE. What other options do we have? And I looked around and I saw the 1MZ, the Toyota V6, the 3-liter V6. And I saw a few folks, I'm not breaking any ground here. A bunch of folks had put them in and they loved it. They thought it was great. The difference was they were running a standalone ECU. They were running a Mega Squirt or a Haltech or whatever to do engine control, and wasn't associated at all with the rest of the car. So you had, fans clicking on and off at different times, all this stuff. So what we wanted to do was have that 1MZ be as close to OEM as possible. So we began wiring it as we wired up this car as an OBD2 car. It is totally OBD2 compliant. And I don't care who you're watching on YouTube or what builds you're doing, no one out there has taken a pre-OBD2 car and made it fully OBD2. If they do swaps like this, if they put different engines in it, they will run a standalone ECU. They'll run something different. They will not use a Toyota ECU. And that's, I'll pop the trunk. By the way, we did fix the key. Sorry, I fixed the key for the trunk. That is right there. I don't know if you can see it. You can't really. That is a Toyota ECU, and it's the same wire harness and everything. This guy used to be with the shop, Devin. He did a great job of wiring all this stuff up. He worked with Nate Millison, who's a huge Toyota guy. Nate helped me with rebuilding the engine that's in here and rebuilding the one that got money shifted. Nate's brilliant, and I'm very grateful for him for helping me out. Learned a ton from him. And then Nate and Devin went through all of the wiring and made this thing OBD2 compliant. We have 2 OBD2 plugs up front. One runs the dash and stuff, and then the other one is plug-in, so we can run checks on engine and whatever we want. So that's kind of a cool part of the car. We run a stock air intake. This is the drum. You can see it because there's no taillight here. This is the drum, and we run the intake. Actually it comes from this side, goes all the way around the back of the car from this. Yeah, this is the intake tube. This actually goes like this on the other side, obviously. It goes like this around the back of the car. So air travels all the way from one side, all the way to the other, into the engine. That's how they designed it. It works pretty well. We have great horsepower and great torque on the car, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, it was cool to have this thing turn over when we're using, a stock key. And I think the biggest non-OEM thing we have in here is the battery is now up front in the frunk. We moved it from here up there. When we did the swap, when we put the 1MZ in here, it was not easy. It took a lot of time. Most of the 1MZ swaps, the guys will cut a firewall. Either they'll cut the firewall back here, or they'll cut the firewall into the cabin. And as per race rules, you can't have any holes in firewalls. So we didn't want to break the rules. That was one of the things. And so getting that engine and transaxle, the E153 transaxle, getting that in there and positioned vertically where we want it, horizontally where we want it, and then clocked how we want, and also tilted. When it's in the Camry, these are engines out of Toyota Camrys and Toyota Solaras. That's the most common place you find them. They're clocked slightly different. It looks very odd when you see it in the Camry. It's not a straight V. It's actually angled slightly. And that's how the engine's designed. We also needed to remember that this is a commuter car engine. This is not designed for racing. It has very tiny oil galleries. So even your OEM oil pump, it can keep up with it, but you're not going to go 10,000, 12,000 RPM. It can't move. It can't move that much air. It can't move that much oil. It's not designed to do any of that stuff. It's designed to go 200,000 miles without, with just simple oil changes. So that's why we were like, all right, well, we need the reliability. We've got a lot of extra horsepower. We basically doubled the horsepower in the car, and we lost 40 pounds. Believe it or not, the 1MZ engine is 40 pounds lighter than the 4A GE four-cylinder. So we lost a little weight, which is kind of nice, especially in the back. We have enough weight in the back of the car. The downside is I had to do custom axles. We went to Gingerman to a race, and we used the OEM axles. And we were fortunate enough to have Ralph Shields with us, who is one of the greatest guys in the entire car world. Ralph, I'm lucky to call Ralph a friend, and I'm lucky to go out on track with Ralph and try to chase him down. I'm probably not catching him, but Ralph was racing with us. He really wanted to do lemons, and he liked our car. He thought it was great. We did his alter ego for the race. But as soon as he gets there, everyone knows who he is. He's a huge rock star in the car world. So when Ralph gets there, everyone knows who he is, and he's so personable. And you think, the former CEO of Dodge and now the head of design for Stellantis worldwide would be kind of either uppity, or he doesn't know much about cars. He's more about design and sleek lines and shit. Nope. I remember there's a team, it was a Hawaii 5.0 team, and they had like a surfboard and a shark on their car, and it was a Mustang. It was a Fox body Mustang, and it was a GT. It was the 5-liter, and Ralph knew so much stuff about the car. The guys came over and they wanted pictures with Ralph, and we were just walking around the paddock checking out the competition. These guys come booking over, and they're like, "Hey, can we get a picture with you?" And Ralph's like, "Hey, what's your car?" And they're like, "Yeah, we got this Mustang." I was like, "Oh, does it still have the 307 in the back?" And they're like, "Yeah, how'd you know that?" He knows all of this stuff. You would be really hard pressed to stump him on car stuff. So Ralph was a ton of fun. He went out on the second stint. Michael W. Started the race, and then Ralph went out on the second stint, second session, and he drives a lot harder than a lot of us, and he killed the axles. Like the CV joints literally exploded. There's a bunch of little steel balls somewhere on the track out of Gingerman out in the grass. So that was kind of the end of our day, but Ralph was super cool. He hung out with us the rest of the day. I think he had a wedding or a reception to go to, but he hung out with us until he had to leave. He could have bailed at any time. As soon as I said the car was done, we don't have spare axles, he was like, he could have left, but instead he hung out, and we had cigars on the trailer and talked about racing, and we had a really nice time. He left just before dinner time to cruise back to Detroit to go to the wedding. That was very cool. So even though we killed the car, we still had a nice weekend, and that's when I realized we need custom axles. So I had went to a company called Mosier, and Mosier does tons of different custom axles. They do them from everything from like go-karts all the way up to like huge mining trucks, and they do all this stuff. Do I have the axles out? I do. Hang on. First things first. By the way, this is brought to you by Rockstar, even though they don't send me shit. I haven't even gotten a sticker. So I'll show you the custom axles I got. These things are beautiful. These are from Mosier. These fit. Now, here's why they're very cool. On this end, we have, what do we have on this end? On this end, we have the AW11 hub. So it would actually go in the car this way. The AW11 hub fits here. And then on this end, we have the Camry transaxle. So we're actually mating AW11 on this side, Camry on this side, which is very, very hard to do. That's a reason big reason why guys don't do these swaps. Finding a combination like this is very difficult. These axles were not cheap. It was about $1,000 for 4 of these. And so we have 2 sets. These will handle, they said these will handle 700 horsepower. We're only 240 horsepower. So they're slightly heavier than the original axles, but I don't care. They're beautiful and they're going to be awesome in the car. They have been awesome in the car. We've only broken CV joints. We haven't broken any axles. Our CV joints are made by a company called Fabest. They're a German company. They make really great CV joints. And our only, we had a CV joint fail at the last race, but it's nice because I can change that axle out in less than 5 minutes. The boot slipped down the, this is hard to explain without the axle. So this axle's kind of, or this boot's kind of gross. So if you look at the axle, there's now a notch here. We didn't have this notch here. So when you have the boot on there, that's keeping the grease in the CV joint up here, and then the boot would slip down. So the boot goes blink, and now all the grease comes out right here. And that was what caused our CV joint failure. Now our boot stays put up here and it gets locked. You know, there's a band that goes right here and locks that in place. Now the boot can't slip. That's our difference this time. You find out all this stuff when you go racing. You push the car very hard. You find a weak point, correct it. Then you find the next weak point. We found a lot of weak points in this car, a lot, but it's been worth it. The friends that we've made along the way, the other teams that we've worked with, like when we were in South Carolina, we were done before the race even started because we had stripper glitter all over the oil pan when we got back from Camden. So the race started in like 6 hours. We were done. So we decided to stay and watch the racing and watch some of the guys compete. And I don't know, it was probably just before dinner, right after dinner on the first day, one of the teams they had an MR2, it was painted like a Bugatti Veyron, which is pretty funny. They said, hey, do you guys have a throttle cable that we can buy from you? And I said, I have a throttle cable and it's free if you take it off. And they're like, cool. And he called 2 guys over. They had it off in like 10 minutes. They got their car back out on track. They eventually finished 7th, which is very cool, out of 113 cars or something. So that was great to, help these guys out. Our car's down, but we can help someone else out. A few weeks later, I got a gift card in the mail from the team captain. His name's Talton. He's a super cool guy. And Talton sent me a $400 gift card. And he's like, thanks for saving our ass during the race. I really appreciate it. This is from the team. I was like, hey, that's awesome. The cable is probably 150, 200 bucks. So, I mean, that's really cool. And you don't meet those people every day. So that was really cool of them. I was pretty excited. Pretty excited to meet those guys. You meet very, very cool people at the track. You meet very, very cool people at Lemons and SVRA and SCCA. It's like I said, it's 99% cool people. It's really hard to find dickheads at the track. Really hard. So now we have this great car. The last thing we did, the last sort of major thing that we did on this car is I put BC coils, coilovers in the car. Now, the only reason I did that is, again, we're past our $500 budget, right? Those are $2,000 in coilovers. Why did I do that? I'm gonna blow us out. And well, here's the reason. Number one, we're the only MR2 in Lemons. We were the only MR2 in Lemons that was running the stock springs and struts. The only one. So everyone else had coilovers, whether they were BC or KWs or whatever. Everyone had coilovers and no one was getting penalized for it. So I'm like, all right, we're going to put coils in the car. If we get penalized, fine. Also at Lemons, every race you do, you get an allowance. So sometimes they give you a $50 or $75 allowance, and you can put that towards upgrades. So, performance upgrades. So since we've done 7 or 8 events, I put that as, $50 per event, 7 events. Yeah, that's good enough for whatever. That'll discount it, and at least, we won't get penalized too hard. And they haven't said anything about it. So we're going to leave it as is. If they do say something, then we'll take the penalty. But until then, at least we're not the only MR2 on stock suspension. When we were testing it at Road Atlanta, it was in the rain and it was a little difficult to get it dialed in. We had some other suspension difficulties that we took care of. We had a bolt that the nut got stripped out, and then the bolt was trying to fall out, and we got a replacement. But that was really our only thing at Road Atlanta, our only major thing. So having the suspension, it was tough to dial it in the rain. You're driving differently, you're driving slower, obviously, and the way you're cornering and all that stuff. And Road Atlanta is different than the other tracks that we go to. So it was kind of tough to dial in. We sort of got it in the middle ground and hope for the best, and it did fine. Once we got the right tires on there, it did fine. The next event at Pit Race, we dialed in the suspension more, and it is very close now to being really, really nice. Brian DePaul has a great little list of all the settings and stuff that he's done to the suspension, so it's working pretty well. We'll have it more dialed in when we get down to Atlanta. We'll do some back roads and stuff and get it, as perfect as we can prior to the race. So I will take you guys. That's kind of history of the car and kind of the outside of it. It is basically an MR2. It is all steel. There's no, there's OEM plastic, but we don't have any fiberglass on it. No carbon fiber. I wanted to run it without the wing. I like the Ferrari Testarossa look, but I got voted out. So everybody liked the wing, but I do have another deck lid that doesn't have any holes in it and is no wing. So if we ever do a theme at Lemons that requires no wing, I'm set. So I'll take you guys in the car. I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to kind of set you guys up so I can show you how the inside of the car works. Give me a second. Because if I put the laptop on the ground, it will be kind of silly. Let me see if I can do this. This guy's a little too tall. So, getting messages from people. Getting messages from people. Hang on one second. What exactly is she looking for? Question mark. Hey, what's going on?
Work to get the top one out.
By the way, you're live on YouTube. You're live on YouTube, just to let you know. It's my neighbor John.
How's it going?
Who's the other John? Who's not the other John? Yeah. Have you been rolling around on the ground with BMW transfer case stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried. I couldn't get the bottom drain plug out, so I had to use a pump, and it was empty. There's nothing in it, so I guess it's good.
Maybe you fill that up.
Yeah, I filled it up, and then it'll be good.
Yeah, BMW uses weird parts, but they don't like to joke around. 14 millimeter. This is a.
And to get the bottom one out, it needs to be like small.
It needs to be a short.
Little short thing. Yeah, it doesn't fit.
I
There's
don't.
the transmission fan is in the way.
Even on torque stuff, I don't have anything that short. I have all the extendo stuff because normally you're trying to go like past the
Yeah,
exhaust
past
and
the-
up and
With this, you
over.
have to- it has to be like short and low.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
What are you doing with this, man?
Well, the guys did not come over tonight. We were going to do the new taillights. Did you know we got impacted? Yeah, lost the vent. We took a shot in the back corner here, 50 miles an hour. The other MR2 with a V6 in it.
Was it like
Craig.
going on the track?
Yeah, Craig came over the hill. The car got light. He wiggled a little bit, and the guy in the red MR2 thought Craig was going to go off track. But Craig's a really good driver, so Craig saved it, brought it back. The guy was trying to accelerate past, and they connected. So everyone did everything right, but we got.
I mean,
I pulled it out a whole ton,
yeah.
and we got a new bumper. We have new taillights coming, and I mean it's.
The frame, and all.
Yeah, just the wrinkle part where it's supposed to back here.
Yeah.
That little section we'll just cut out and reframe. That one's not too bad. But yeah, the trunk, everything worked like it should have. It crumpled the trunk. Everything from the firewall forward is fine. So all of our suspension, everything is okay. Yeah.
Well, the next time you have one of your BMW guys up here, I have something's wrong with my second gear, and I need somebody to look at it. Like if he drove it, he would probably be able to be like, "This is terribly like messed up." You know?
David, yeah, I don't know when David's coming up. I thought he was coming up tonight, but he's not.
Next time he's here, shoot me a text. I'll drive over and have him just like take it down the road. He'll know exactly. He might not know exactly what it is, but he'll know that something's wrong.
He can confirm that you're not hallucinating stuff. Yeah.
Well, the last time I took it in, I told him like something had happened, and then they gave back and they're like, "It's good. It was fine." And then I drove out. Like, it's not fine. It's terrible. But
That's
what
the-
happens when you do like a pull. It's high torque, high RPM, like up, and the transmission slips and the RPM.
But if you're just
drop.
going to Kroger, no big deal.
No,
Okay.
You have to really force it.
It could be a lot of stuff, but yeah, David would he's probably your best bet for BMW stuff. We're doing the graphics on this on either Monday night or Tuesday night. So I'll shoot you a message. I'll let you know when he might come over this weekend too.
You guys do like a full delivery.
Yeah, we have for Lemons, every Lemons race we do a different theme.
Mhm.
So we had the Kimi Räikkönen theme, which I don't know if you saw that one, and then we had the Chinese C8 Corvette. Half was in really bad English, and then the other half was in Americans are stupid Mandarin.
Yeah.
So like on the back corner here, it said like beef with broccoli, but it was the really cool Mandarin symbol.
Okay.
And over the engine compartment, it was a cool Mandarin symbol and just said power. And then over the wheels, the wheel well up front, it said danger spinning fast in English.
What gen Corvette was that?
C8.
C8.
That's why, yeah,
You guys did a full livery on it.
it was just a whole bunch of words.
Yeah.
That's the plate for this car.
For this one.
Yeah. Just because it's mid-engine and making fun of Corvette guys. I mean, your dad, it happens to your dad every day, right?
I wish. I mean, I don't even.
His dad has a C7. It's actually pretty badass. What I'm still trying to figure out is how your dad got the Chevrolet Corvette paint matched to the Ford F-250.
Yeah, 'cause I have no clue. I think
The
they're the
paint
exact same.
Is if you look at it and tell me they're different, I would be blown away. So yeah, that's what's still messing with me. I'm sure your dad made a call. That's all.
Probably
Yeah.
something like that. I'm gonna get out of your hair.
All right, cool.
Good stuff. I appreciate it.
I'll shoot you a text about David.
Yeah, if he's ever growing, if he's ever here, no, I'll roll over.
Okay, cool. Thanks, John.
Yeah, later.
Yeah, that's a rare sight at the shop. People bringing tools back. Normally, those tools liberate themselves and they're gone forever. So, John's my neighbor down that way. His dad's, I'm pretty sure, I'll check real quick. I think he's in the C7. Nope. Nope. He brought his mom's car. That's all right. He was in the C7 earlier. But yeah, his dad has a C7. Really, it's a beautiful C7. And then he has an F-250, but they are the exact same color. So that one messed with me. I don't know how you do that. If you ask Chevy to paint it a Ford color, or you ask Ford to paint it a Chevy color. Super nice folks. Super nice folks. What else? Yeah, I'm trying to get you guys into the car. So, you know what I can do is, all right. I know this is going to be a little weird. By the way, these are on sale at Harbor Freight today. You can order them online, $20. Oh. Oh, I just looked at my watch. You guys think I'm full of crap? 21 degrees outside. Whoops. It's 21 degrees outside. Oh, we're almost at the low of 20. All right. I wish chat worked. I'm sorry. I'm just going to type test and see if it works. You guys can chat back if you want. All right. I'm going to put you guys in here, and then I'm going to go hop in the driver's seat, and hopefully this stays put. Okay. This should work pretty well, and I can raise that side up a little bit too. Now I'm 6'1", so can't have the steering wheel in here when I get in the car. Oh, hello, seatbelt. Anti-submarine belt. So, all right, now I can raise you guys up too. Oh yeah, that works pretty well. Okay, so it's kind of dark in here. I apologize. So this is the cockpit of the race car. We have a full race seat with full harnesses, which are made by NRG, and they are about to expire at the end of the year. So we'll have to get a new race seat and a new harness. And this is our car. This is, we kept a lot of the OEM dash from the MR2, and you can see that here. Like, this is the original glove box cover, center console. I even kept the clock. I wanted to have the little LCD clock. It's so 80s. I absolutely love it. And we kept most of the center console. We do have heat in here. We do not have air conditioning, obviously, but we do have heat because Ohio. Also, because the windshield will fog up, so we want to be able to circulate air through here. So I took that heater core, the whole heater box assembly apart, the entire thing, cleaned everything, did all new foam for all the flaps, painted everything, and put it all back together. So that's basically a brand new airbox. Devin, who did our wiring, also did these new knobs for us. The originals had these little levers on them. And when you're driving, it's kind of hard to, flip a lever, or it's very easy for your glove or whatever to get caught on it. So Devin 3D printed these cool knobs that fit on there. Hopefully he's sold a bunch of those. I don't know if he has or not. We do live streaming from the car, and this is where our hotspot goes. So it has a perfect view up. We have a standard key. And by the way, if you're a car guy, go on Amazon and get these. It's a little USB drive. It's in the shape of a key. This has all the records of the car. So this has the title. This has the factory service manual. It has all the oil changes, everything. And you can do this on all your cars. So it's a good way to keep all that. And then just give it to the next owner when you're done. We do have a regular ignition. There's nothing special about it except I painted it. And like I said, we have the this section, because our other one was cracked from sun. This section is from the automatic car, because you can see it has the ECT, which is, I don't remember, electronic something, but there's normal and power mode. So we just keep it in power mode. This switch isn't obviously not hooked up to anything. So we just keep it in power mode. The wipers work. The turn signals work. These 4 gauges work. Everything works as normal. We could set it up with cruise control, because I still have the cruise control stuff for the 1MZ. So if we really wanted to, we could set it up for cruise. I'm getting more messages here. Let's see if the feed is screwing up. You guys will have to let me know. Oh. Uh, okay. Okay. Exclamation point. I'll look into it after I've finished on YouTube. Period. Um, cool. So we have it's a little hard to see from there, but we have a completely digital touchscreen dash. A couple of the guys figured out that if we took the speedometer and tachometer out of there, we could fit a 7-inch Android like mini tablet, just a touchscreen tablet in there, and we can control a whole bunch of stuff in the car, namely the recording of the cameras. We have 3 cameras. We have one at the nose. We have one right over here. I can just rotate you guys around. There's that one in the cockpit, and then we have another one that's up right behind us that faces backwards, so we can see what's going on behind us. And we live stream those along with a overlay of our dash, and our digital dash it can show whatever we want: RPM, speed, water temperature, oil temperature, all that stuff. That's very cool. We can also control all the streaming and stuff. We have a keyboard in here. Oh, hang on. That's why I was wondering why the stool was wonky. It's because it was on the keyboard. So we have a little wireless keyboard in here that does we do all the stuff with the dashboard on that. I'll tilt you guys down a little bit. You can see our console here. We have all the heater controls. We have oil temp and oil pressure, and these are normally the radio goes right here. We also have our fire pole, that's when bad shit happens. You pull that, and you can see our OBD2 plug. You can't really see it down here. It's just down there. These were 3D printed by Devin. He did a couple different designs, and these work great. We can keep our eyes up and just look down really quick to see. They're analog, but they also have a digital display. So we just need to know the magic number, and we know we're in good shape. This car has the OEM fuel cell, which is here between the seats, and it's been cleaned out, and then Pour 15 liner inside, and then TBL on the outside. So we run 93. We don't run anything special. Up here on the dash, you can see our timer. This is our countdown timer. He's just got a magnet on the back. And so we put in here how long the driver wants to go. And so 35-minute. You want to do a 35-minute session? And then you do start and stop. You put this up here. And then when the numbers disappear, when that goes black, then you're done. You can come in anytime. You've cleared there it is. You've cleared the 35 minutes. So that's why we have that in there. The steering wheel. Oh yeah, I forgot the steering wheel's up here. And you can also see, you get a lot of the roll cage. You can see how incredible the roll cage is. So a roll cage guy in Akron, Ohio did this for us. These are the safety pads that you have to have on for like your helmet and stuff. You don't want to hit. But these buttresses, these add-ons, he did a bunch of these. There's here, and then there's ones lower, and they're back in the corners. You can see one back behind me here. So he did all of these really cool little buttresses, and we didn't pay for any of those. Those were all kind of thrown in for free. We have a NASCAR style door bar on this side, and we have a Porsche style X brace on that side. This is so tight to the actual body, I can't get a credit card in there. That's how tight that is. That's how tight he fit this bar. Same thing up at the dash. We were able to keep. Oh, there we go. I see the chat working. Hey, Liz. So you can see the dashboard. We can still fit the dashboard. I did have to do 2 cutouts right by the speakers, but I didn't really care. I'm not too big on it. we could technically still fit the speakers and the AC vents in there if we really wanted to. On this car, we have our main power kill in this vent right here, which is this big red switch. That's our main power kill. The rules state you have to have it within arm's distance of your shortest driver. So our tallest driver when we built the car was 6'5", and so he had no problem. But our shortest driver was like 5'8" or 5'9". So when they test you out, when they check you out, they make sure that your guy can reach that. And originally we had it out on the front of the car so that the stewards could get it. But stewards really like it right here where it's protected from the outside, where other people can't reach it. They know exactly where it's at. And we have markings on the outside of the car where the safety is, where the fire pole. We have a fire pole on the outside on that side. So the stewards can reach in here and grab this fire pole, or they can grab the one on the far side of the car. We have a complete fire suppression system in here, which I think you guys saw the nozzle up here. There's one of the nozzles. And then there's our fire suppression system. That's about $1,000, and it's pretty cool. And those have to get tested and refilled regularly. There you can see there's our OBD2 just kind of hanging out in the breeze right here. We can plug into that and clear check engine lights and stuff. Thankfully, we don't have any check engine lights. So I'll grab the steering wheel. And this is an NRG quick release, and this is the version 2.5, which we really like because he has the smaller little wings, little tabs on him. He only goes, oh, I tricked it, sorry. He only goes on one way. So you can put it on here and you can turn it around, and now he's locked. And please, people, check. I've watched guys at the track not check to make sure they're locked. They come into a turn and they have to pull, and then they pull on their wheel, and they just pull it off, and at 80 miles an hour they go into the wall because they can't get the wheel back on time. So please check that stuff. Now, this is a $10 Amazon cover. We do not have the cover on when we race. We just have the cover on when we're transporting and when it's in the shop. Craig donated this beautiful $400 Momo. It's probably worth more now. Momo steering wheel. This is for Ferraris and stuff. This is 330 millimeters. This is an absolutely beautiful wheel. Nice steel. Has a great feel, especially with gloves on. We've got some, it's got some wear, but it's a beautiful steering wheel. So that's why we keep the cover on here when we're messing around with the car. We don't want to mess up our beautiful steering wheel. And in this car, a long time ago, we figured out we were doing black and white with yellow as our accent color. So that's why, Craig was like, "Oh, you're doing yellow trim. I got a cool steering wheel for you guys." I was like, "Awesome." So what else? We have a standard emergency brake. The shifter we have, I don't know if you can see the shifter. We have Japanese kanji characters on here, and they're the legit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reverse. But it's this ball. We tried a whole bunch of different shifters. This ball actually feels the best when you are shifting the car. We obviously had to do custom shifter cables. These guys go all the way back, and then we did very, very bizarre routing, which comes through. It goes through the intake manifold and back down, or actually goes over the engine, through the intake manifold and down. It's very bizarre, but it works great. So we can't really complain about it. I'm sure we could do, some super finite, little tiny screw adjustments and stuff, but getting the shifter to work, we have new bushings in here that really help tighten up the shifter. Our return spring could be tighter, but that's kind of the max for that return spring. It's not, they don't make a tighter one. It'd be nicer to have a tighter one. The doors are from the red car. The roof is from the red car. The doors from the red car. The hood is from the red car. The front impact bar is from the red car. This white fender is from a totally different white car. That white fender is from the white car. And then all the stuff in the back is from the white car, except the new rear bumper, which is from a entirely different white car. So yeah, there's a lot of different parts from a lot of different cars on here. One thing it's kind of tough to see. I don't know if you guys can see it down here. That's a PC right there. So Move this to the side because I'm going to launch it. We have a PC in here, and that does all of our camera stuff. It does our live streaming. It does the dash. It does a whole bunch of cool stuff. So we have a mini ATC frame and case, USB port up there, and it's all wired into the computer or into the car. So we have a ton of control over the car, which is pretty cool. Let's see, I'm getting messages from people. Yeah. What do we got? Okay. What else? Trying to think of what else to show you guys. We've got truck bed liner all over the floors. Like I said, when we put this roll cage back in here, we were not sure that it was gonna, fit like it did in the other one. When roll cage guy did it originally, it was so tight. But we got it back in the exact, we think the exact same spots that he did. So we got it pretty damn close. And then Craig Reed came over and helped us wire it back in. It helped us weld it back in. So yeah, that door is not cut, but we have talked about cutting it. And this door is cut out. You can see how much it's cut out. We still have the regular handle, but we have a ton of the door cut out. By the way, the power mirrors still work too. We have the power mirror control right down here. So even when you're racing, you can actually click down, adjust left, right, and you can adjust your power mirrors. We have new LED headlights, and we also have, there's two switches down here for the yellow fogs and the white fogs, and they are incredibly bright. They're just cheapo Amazon $40 fog lights, but they are bright as hell. And we originally did those for the 24-hour race in South Carolina. Fortunately, we didn't get to use them for that, but they do work great. They work really great. So yeah, another thing about race cars and about safety and all of that stuff is pretty much all sanctioning bodies in any kind of wheel-to-wheel racing, they require a fire suppression system. That's standard. They also require Hans devices, which are a huge deal. And those are, just major safety. Everyone's very focused on safety. Lemons is actually more strict about safety than anyone else. And I think that's a good thing because they have a lot of guys, using zip ties and duct tape and shit to hold cars together. So it's probably a good idea. But their roll cage specs are more precise than NASA or SCCA or anyone else, which is a good thing. One of the things they test you on, and they do this in NASA and SCCA, they'll occasionally at scrutineering or during inspection, they'll pick you out and you have, I can't remember if it's 10 or 12 seconds to get out of the car. So you're fully harnessed in and, car started and they go, and you have to kill the engine, pull the wheel, get your harness off, get out of the car. You got 12 seconds to do that. And that's just so that you're familiar with the car. If something bad happens, God forbid you're on fire or anything, you can get out of the car very quickly. And I've only been, asked to do that once, but it's very intense because you don't want to screw it up. You get one shot at it. So if you screw it up, they're like, we don't know if you can drive. So to get out, the easy way to do it is, some people do it from the top. It doesn't really matter. You pull the quick release and it stays in the open position until you put it back in here, find center, and then, yeah. There's nothing worse than quick release where it just locks in at any random spot and you think you're driving straight and then you're like, oh shit. And then you spend the whole session like, okay, I'm going straight. So yeah, this one's really nice. It will only lock in the upright position. Also, NRG makes a ton of hub adapters for a whole bunch of different cars. So that's why we went with NRG versus anyone else. They're a quality Japanese company. You can see the logo there. Again, they don't pay us a dime. I paid full price for all this stuff. Not the wheel. Brian got us a nice mirror. This is a super convex mirror. And the original mirror we had in here, I guess our original mirror is gone. He did a like an extension one, and it comes up through the foam. This one has a nice wide view, so it really gets rid of the blind spot back here, which is cool because we have a kind of a big blind spot with that big C-pillar and the roll cage. It doesn't, it's not real conducive. Also, everything works in the car. So the third brake light back there, that works. But even though we have one in the wing, we still have this one. What else? I think that's it. Yeah, the seats are Pyrotech. They're great seats. They're not expensive. They're not cheap. It's not a OMP or anything like that. The car is very easy to get in and out of. It's not a good daily driver. It doesn't have any carpet. It doesn't have a stereo. It does have a heater, but it's not I would definitely not daily drive this. We left it set up where you can put a passenger seat in here, just in case you want to take, friends or go scare the shit out of people. You are welcome to do that. But we don't have the OEM belts in here, so you would have to add belts if you want to add a seat. This thing keeps buzzing on me, and I want to make sure I'm not getting messages from customers that are like, hey, so yeah, this is a very, very fun car. We've had a very good time with it, and now we have a super reliable engine. We have a backup engine that's super reliable. We have these incredible axles, and we have a really great team. We've got a great theme. Thank you, by the way. Liz came up with the theme, so you guys can give her props for that. I had a whole bunch of people send me stuff. We could do this, and talked with the guys. I sent the list. We had like 5 or 6 of them. I narrowed them down to, and the guys were like, "Hey, that's cool. That's that's an '80s movie, and hopefully the people will get the reference." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Let's go with that." And then Liz helped find the graphics, and we're working on funny lines from the movie that we'll put on the car too. So we'll pick up graphics on Monday. I'm going to Sam. It's kind of difficult with the weekend and who's working and who isn't, and who's in town and who isn't. So I talked to Sam last week, and he said he was going to be there on Monday. So I'm going down Monday morning to get the graphics, and we'll put them on either Monday night or Tuesday night right here on YouTube. You guys can watch us. That's where we'll do the reveal of our theme. Dakota, one of the other drivers, he's getting the patches made. So we're going to do patches instead of embroidered baseball hats, because the patches you can iron on a hat or whatever, or you can put it on your suit, or you can do put on a notebook, whatever. Patches were way better than just doing like a dozen baseball hats, because a baseball hat you can't really put anywhere, but you might have like a cool jacket, or I don't know where you put patches. Over your eye? I don't know. God, I was trying to remember Tim Curry's character in Clue. But he didn't wear an eye patch in that. Tim Curry wore an eye patch in something. It was very funny. I couldn't remember what it was. So yeah, I'll put you guys out of the car, and figuratively, not literally, and then you guys can ask me questions if you have any questions, or anything you like or don't like. Oh, you want to see the engine, don't you? All right. Give me a second. I will open the engine bay and get it held. We don't have a prop run or anything. I'll get because we're trying to save weight. I'll get it open, and then I'll pull you guys out. So let me hop out of here. Yes, you sit on this. Oops, you got to pop the. pop the latch. And we have our bungee here to hold it open. And I've got you guys with me. So this, I'll put you on this side. Hopefully you guys can see that. That is our engine. So I'll come over to this side. This is a Toyota 1MZ. That is the model name for this engine. It is 3 liters. It is a V6. And as you can see, there's one cylinder head here, and then the other one is down there. So you still have a 90-degree V6, but it's sort of angled back this way. And then down here, we have the E153 transmission, which is a 5-speed manual. And again, it's a commuter car transmission. It's not designed for top speed or anything like that. Our intake comes in and comes up over to here. So it comes about halfway back. So it travels the whole length all around the back of the car and then comes about halfway back to here. I don't know why. That's how they did that, and that's their thing. This block, all of the major components of the block and the cylinder heads and a lot of the other stuff is painted yellow. This is the yellow block, and then the other one will be the red block, and those are the easy ways to remember which one is which. So I need the cylinder heads off the red block. I need the valve covers off the yellow block, whatever it is. And these components are all Cerakoted. They didn't come from the factory like this. So this and the water neck, the valve covers, the throttle body, this plenum, the intake, the fuel rails, a lot of stuff is Cerakoted. So it's to help us with heat. And here you can see our shifter cables, how they come up through and or up over the valve cover and then through into the plenum, down past the plenum, and then they curve back to the transmission. That was the way to get the smoothest curve out of them. These are very long compared to regular shifter cables, but they work really great. Braden Connolly at Midwest Bayless turned us on to the company who makes these, and he got them ordered for us and got us a great deal. The engine mounts, Chris Scherzer did those, and Chris and Ryan spent probably 3 days getting this thing absolutely. We had lasers and shit marking the lines and getting the height set so we could still close the hood even though this was tall. And Chris and Ryan did a great job getting this thing set up exactly where we needed it. We have about 10 degrees, maybe 12 degrees on the axles. CVs handle that no problem. And these mounts are so badass. This transaxle mount and that engine mount on that side, they are so beefy. In the accident, that engine mount broke, but it was the OEM section that broke, the cast aluminum, not the part that Chris fabricated. Same thing over here, the bolts sheared off, but the part that Chris fabricated, no problem, held on absolutely strong. Oh, and we lost our cover in the accident too. So I think I have a spare one of these. I'll have to go through the bin. But that's our engine. Also, we don't run coolant, we run water. We run distilled water because on the racetrack, if you blow a gasket or something and spill coolant, it becomes very, 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 very slippery. Very slippery. So that's why everyone runs water. Usually run distilled water. So bring you guys back here. Oh, snow drifting with friends. Yeah. What the hell? Okay. There we go. That's better. Cool. And I'll just leave this down because we're going to be checking things. Take the stool out of here. So, I don't know. So Herkimer can spin around the shop. See, rolly stools are awesome. I have one at the other shop and I'm very happy with it. Probably get another one just because they're extremely handy. So yeah, this is the bungee cord. that we use that just holds that up because we don't have a prop rod. Let's see, for wheels and tires, we run the 949 Racing 6 ULs, and they are 15 by 7, 15 by 8. They are, the tires we run are Continental Extreme Contact Forces. They're the new ones. They're fantastic. Highly recommend Continental Extreme Contact Force, not just the Extreme Contact Forces. And those are fantastic tires in the dry, in the wet, at the track, on the street. Go get them. Trust me, you'll like them. If you like a performance tire, that's it. They are a 200 tread wear, so they're going to go quick, but you're going to like them. I'm actually looking at a set for the Viper. Obviously, not in that size. These are 205 50 15s. The Vipers are 355 35 19, and they're about $500 each. So a little different. These tires are $77 each, so a little different in tires. I think these tires are about $100 each now, which is not bad. They've gotten more popular, so they're getting a little bit more expensive. That's our race car basically. Like I said, I'm sorry we're missing the taillights here. They were destroyed in the accident. It wasn't something we could super glue back together or epoxy back together. So I think that's about it. Right behind you guys is the spare engine. If you want to see it, this is nice about the stools. I can just spin you around. And this is our spare 1MZ. We got out of a Camry out of Michigan, and this thing is the amount of miles on it and everything, it's incredible. Very, very impressed with the compression out of it. That one obviously has not been painted or Cerakoted or anything like that, so we can take those components off and do that at another time. It's not a huge deal. I don't want to take this engine apart because it's in great shape, even though it has 200,000 miles, 240,000 miles. It's in great shape. If it's not broken, don't fix it. So we're going to keep that as a plug and play, and that's our backup engine. Oh, and for exhaust, our exhaust is kind of done. I don't know what happened to it. It's over there. In the accident, the little cherry bomb exhaust we had that shot a little flame out of it, the mount bracket for it broke. It wasn't, it wasn't doing much. It's basically a spark arrestor. Plus, I will tell you a hint, a Camry V6 straight piped with a very short exhaust sounds really, really good, especially about 5,000 to 6,000 RPM. It actually sounds really good. No, it's not 69 Camaro with a big cam that's barely running and a huge blower. It is still, for a JDM car, little 3-liter V6, it sounds really good. And especially screaming around the track, it sounds good. I like it. So we have a very cool car. We have a lot of very cool drivers. We have, at this event, we have myself, we have Brian DePaul, we have Brian Hammond, and we have Dakota Weinman. And Dakota's parents are letting us stay at their vineyard, which is right by Road Atlanta. So we're having a nice time there, which is it's a beautiful vineyard, and they have a big house and a big party barn, and yeah, very, very cool. So they're about half hour from the track, something like that. Makes for a very nice trip when you have a very nice place to stay. Makes for it. Even if your car blows up, you still have a nice time. And they're actually going to camp out. They're taking one of their Airstream trailers, and they're going to camp out at Road Atlanta at the track. So we have like a legit fan base, which is very cool. I'm pretty stoked about that. Plus, if it's pouring rain, we have someplace to go that's covered, and we can get warm. Really hoping for nice weather. Really hoping for nice weather. So I want this cold blast that everyone's getting. I saw a freeze warning for it went super south. It was Enterprise, Alabama. There were freeze warnings all over in the south, and I was like, stop being cold. I need it to be warm. No rain, no snow. It's actually snowed at Road Atlanta for Lemons before, so we're hoping for, cloudy skies is fine. I'd like sunshine in 75, but I'll take cloudy skies in 60. Um, and Road Atlanta is a great facility. Very nice people there. All the track people are really great. Never had any complaints. And I'm jazzed to see the Lemons friends too. We've made a ton of friends over the years, and they don't make it to all the races, but we're kind of going all over the place. So we get to see like guys from New Hampshire, then we get to see guys from Florida, we get to see guys from Illinois. So they all come to these different races, and it's cool to catch up with all of them. And also see they're doing kind of crazy builds where we're doing something sort of reliable that just fits in the rules. So they're doing, PT Cruisers with an eBay turbo that they built day before yesterday, and they have no tune on it. They're just like letting it go and dump fuel. So you have fun stuff like that. That's why Lemons is a lot of fun. You see crazy stuff, crazy engineering, killer food. Oh God. Yeah, there's a lot of really good food. Especially when the track goes cold, smell those grills and barbecue everywhere. I mean, it's a lot of fun. There's a big potluck on Saturday night too, which is cool for all the racers and all the crew, which is a lot of fun. There's always great food there. People bring in really awesome. That pit race, they had a killer, and the line was out the door. People coming back around for seconds. And yeah, it was great. So yeah, and I'll extend this offer again. I'll keep telling you guys, I'm gonna sound like Billy Mays, and that's fine. I don't care. If you want to come to the Lemons race where we're racing, I will cover your spectator fee. You have to send me a message, send me an email or a text or message or whatever here, and tell me that you're going to be at the race, and I will meet you at the front gate, and I will cover your spectator fee for the whole weekend. This isn't trying to get fans. You can root for whoever you want. You want to root for, the VW Rabbit, go for it. If you want to root for the S10 pickup, sure, go for it. But it's an effort to get more people into racing and enjoying racing in all forms. So when we start going drag racing, I'm going to do the same thing. So I want more people to get into it and get, to enjoy it, to have fun with it and find what they like about it. Some people might just like crewing. They just might, hey man, I'll set up your suspension. Some people want to drive, and that's all they can do. They're not very mechanically inclined. One of the guys I drive with, Nolan, is an awesome wheelman. I would trust him in any of my cars. No problem. He's way faster than me, but he doesn't like to work on cars. He likes to drive cars, and he can drive the holy hell out of them, but he doesn't like to work on them, and that's fine. But find your niche, find the stuff that you like, and you get to meet really cool people. So you're sort of expanding everything. Dancing alone with rentals. That's an interesting name. It just made me flash back to this thing about in the guitar world. It's very funny. So on Floyd Rose tremolos, on the back it says licensed by Floyd Rose. It's part of the casting, and there's a Chinese copy that was floating around there. And God, if I found one of these, I would buy it in a heartbeat. I'd pay whatever for it, just because they're so rare and it's so funny. On one of them, in the same font, in the same area, it says "Rhythm and Jump, Dancing Close to You," and I lost it. I absolutely lost it, just laughing my ass off. In the same font, everything. If you just kind of do a quick glance, you're like, oh, it has the little stamp, the little casting. But you read it and it says "Rhythm and Jump, Dancing Close to You." And that's where your name like flashed me back to that, which was pretty funny. So yeah, like I said, sorry, I didn't mean to go Guitar World on you from Car World. Just that "Rhythm and Jump, Dancing Close to You." What the hell does that even mean? So yeah, if you guys want to come to the race, I would love to have you there. I've talked to the Viper folks. There's a few Viper folks that will hopefully come by, and some of my other car friends from from Georgia, from Florida, from North Carolina. Hopefully, they're going to come down and join us for the weekend. That would be really cool, even if it's just for the day. That would be awesome. And I'm absolutely love to see you guys down there. It would be a ton of fun. So hopefully tomorrow or sometime during this weekend, Hammond will come over and we'll do some body work. We need to get this straightened out before we put the taillights back. They won't fit, and I got a new gasket kit, so we need to make sure the gaskets fit. Otherwise, they're just going to get ripped. So hopefully Hammond will come over. We'll hammer that stuff out, and then on Sunday we can have the new taillights put in. So we do have a bunch of stuff coming up with this car. Then, like I said, either Monday night or Tuesday night, depending on the graphics and people available, we'll do the graphics reveal on the car. I'll know more about that on Monday, and I'll probably post on Facebook and Instagram that we're going to do the graphics reveal on YouTube tonight. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, it's just my name, no spaces. And same thing on Facebook. It's just my name. I don't have any weird handles, or I'm not trying to hide anything or any shit like that. It's just me. And so yeah, I'll try and keep you guys updated, and I'll try and keep you updated here. You guys signed up for the channel, so I'll try and keep you updated. And I really appreciate it. The subscribers, it's cool to watch this thing grow and grow and grow, and to get these messages that, hey, XYZ subscribed, and ABC subscribed to your channel. You're like, hey, that's cool. There's a new message from DEF, and I'm like, oh, hey, what did they say? Oh yeah, sure, awesome. And yeah, 24.8, whatever. It's cool. I love getting those messages. Those are a lot of fun. Those are the cool emails versus, hey, you could what's the thing? Solar panels are now available for your house in Florida. It's like, come on, dude. All right, I get it. I much rather the emails from you guys saying, hey, I liked your video, or hey, thanks for doing this, or you got me into MR2s, or you got me into Vipers, or thanks for telling me about how to do an oil change on a Miata. I just got my Miata, and I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. So the one I did last week with the truck, I got an email from a guy literally 5 minutes after I finished the live. I got an email from the guy, and he said, hey, thanks for putting this up. I've tried everything with my truck, and I couldn't figure out why the gas cap message wouldn't go away. And he said, I watched your live, and in 5 minutes I had it repaired. I was like, hey, awesome. So I'm glad I can help people out with that. That's a lot of fun. That makes me feel really good, considering I don't get paid for any of this. I don't do any advertising, nothing like that. This is totally organic. You guys are making it worth it for me to keep going. I love doing it. So I really appreciate it. And, definitely tell friends and have them subscribe, and we'll keep going. I'm going to be here in Ohio for a few days until we get this car finished, and we get the trailer, we get it all loaded up in the trailer and ready to go. And then I'm going to be out of here next week and go down. I'm going to drop the car off at Road Atlanta, go to Florida, grab some other stuff, come back to Road Atlanta and race. And then the car will be coming back here to Ohio, but not with me. It's coming back with the other guys. So I'll be staying in Florida. I think that's it for tonight. Hopefully you guys got some good insight into the car, and those of you who have been here before and hopefully you got something new. I don't know. I kind of say the same things over and over again, but maybe next time we'll go underneath the car. I don't know if that's exciting for anyone, but we can show you the suspension, and the whole underside of the car is all truck bed linered because, again, Ohio. But it's very good to protect that stuff. Even though you don't have salt on road courses, there's a ton of debris that comes out. Chunks of metal from blown engines and God knows, oil spills and some kind of brake fluid. All this stuff comes out, so it's nice to have protection underneath the car. Yeah, you were very correct. I did my watch earlier, and I'll show you guys again. It is 21 degrees here. Whoops. That's Fahrenheit. I wish it was Celsius. So yeah, it is not warm here. That's why I am in a jacket and a shirt and long underwear. So, and I have both heaters going here in the shop. So, and it's only 57 degrees. It's only gone up 1 degree here. That's how cold it is in Ohio. And we don't like it. Tomorrow is Saturday, and that is the Super Bowl here. So for anybody who's not watching that, we'll be here in the shop. We'll do something cool with the car. I haven't figured out what yet, but we'll do something cool. And if you guys have suggestions, I'd love to hear it. If there's something specific you want to see on this, how the computer works, how we did the engine mounts, how the axles fit in the car, whatever. If you want to see something, just be specific and tell me, and I'll put the car up in the lift and we can go through stuff. Happy to do that for you. That's it for tonight. I think we've had a successful night and not terribly productive, but hopefully you guys got some cool insight into the car and how we prep for this and what it takes to build something like I said, this has been 5 years and it's a little bit each time, and you get better after each race. You get it a little more bulletproof. We've got a pretty bulletproof car here. We've got some spares for stuff that fails, and we've got smart about doing all that stuff. So yeah, we're in pretty good shape. Let's see what the message is here. Engine mounts are actually interesting. Yeah, I talked about swapping earlier. Anybody who tells you, oh, let's just swap it, or let's do an LS swap, or let's do a VQ swap, you can tell them to screw right off. They make it sound like you're ordering a large pizza. It is not that. It is an involved process. And I don't care if you're going GM to GM with an LS, it is still involved. And if you're one person, it's really involved. If you're two people, it's still a headache. You hope that everything is plug and play, but there is always something that comes up. So anyone who says, oh, just swap it, you can tell them to screw right off, because it is a very involved process. They make it sound very easy because LSs are very popular and there's a ton of stuff out there for them, but it is not as easy as they make it sound like you're plugging in a phone charger, and that is not what it is. It is very involved. This was super involved, but we made ourselves super involved because we made it OBD2 instead of just doing a standalone ECU like a Holley or a Haltech or whatever. We actually use a Toyota ECU from the 1MZ to run this engine. It actually runs the whole car. It does all the stuff on the speedometer and oil pressure and all that stuff. So we made it extremely difficult by taking a OBD1 car and making it OBD2 with the factory computer. Nobody on YouTube has done that. I don't care who it is. I don't even think Toyota's done that. So we're the only ones who punished ourselves to do that. The engine mounts were very cool. I wish I could get Chris in here to talk about them and what was involved. He and Ryan went through a lot, and Joey was here too for a bunch of that. Using the jack stands, and we actually, on this cabinet right here, up here, we had lasers. We had a laser on top of my toolbox, and we were we had ones on the lift post, and we were squaring up the car regarding weight and how to clock it and twist. It was really involved, and we were using like little rubber mallets to just like barely move it and got it exactly where we wanted it. And then Chris cut out all these. I mean, they're like beefy chunks of metal. They're beefy chunks of steel. We used polyurethane inserts, and the thing's awesome, man. Those engine mounts, you could easily do a 1UZ. You could do the 4-liter V8. Those engine mounts will hold it. I mean, they're beefy as hell. Way awesome. Again, those things got cut out. They got shaped nicely, and then they got TBL'd. That's just my standard is truck bed liner. I protect everything because Ohio. The transmission, the axles, the transmission adapters, is that what you're talking about? Getting the AW11 hubs to match up with the E153 transmission is the hardest thing when you're moving over to a 1MZ. A lot of the wiring is very simple. This is not even 8-bit computer stuff, but getting the mechanical stuff to match up. The shifter cables were difficult because we routed the shifter cables very oddly, but the axles were very difficult to do. We thought we could do OEM with different CVs. That sort of worked, but it actually didn't. And we're way happier with these axles and the CV joints from Fabest. They've been awesome. So you can't please don't use 40-year-old CV joints. Just get new ones from Fabest. They're literally exactly like the OEM. They're a German company. They do these amazing CV joints. Get the stuff from them. It's $50, maybe $45 for a CV joint, and they're really easy to put together and grease up. They give you all the gear and the boots and everything. So just get one from Fabest. But yeah, if you guys need the specs on if anyone wants the specs on the axles, I'm happy to give them to you. These are the 24 spline. I believe they're the 24 spline. Where the hell's the box? If I look at a box, I can tell you which spline it is. Oh. So yeah, it's a 24 spline. Here is the box. That's the CV that we use. And it's 24 spline. And you can tell because it has the hole for the cotter pin to go through. So there's the part number from Fabest that we use. 0110-009. These work awesome. It feels like it's still in here. It is. So they give you a boot, give you lube, always a good thing. And then, yeah, I took the little cover off of this. This is a brand new CV from Fabest. And axle goes in here, obviously, and then this all matches with the AW11 hub. All it takes is 2 seconds and I'm grease. And they give you a new castle nut, all of that. So this one we're using, obviously, for measuring. That's why he was out. But these are the hubs from Fabest. These are really, really nice. Very happy with these. We've only blown up one, and that's because the boot leaked, not because of anything Fabest didn't do. Find a paper towel. I know I have paper towels. So yeah, there's a lot of options with MR2, and we call this the MR6. Just because we have, to be 6 in it now, and that was the quick and easy way. Even though, for those who don't know, MR2 stands for midship, which is where the engine's mounted. Runabout, which is the Japanese sort of, not slang, but sort of term for coupe, which is a 2-door coupe. And then 2 is the second design version. So midship, runabout, second design version. That's where it came from. God, this stuff is gross. It's all over now. What are the questions here? Ridgeline, yeah. Yeah, the one part about doing stuff from OEM is that they have very strict standards, even if it comes from China. So if you get a Ridgeline axle and you get it from Honda, it's going to have stricter specs than if you get it from AutoZone or O'Reilly's or Pep Boys or wherever. So that's the one good part. The downside is you're going to pay more. So you might go through a couple of different axles from Pep Boys, and then you'll only go through one axle from Honda, but you're going to pay more. So which way do you want to go? If you want to do custom axles, that's a whole other ball game. That's you forget about how much shit costs. You just go and do it. The custom axles are no joke, man. But the people in Mosier were amazing. I was there. I think I was there on a Thursday, about lunchtime, right after lunchtime on Thursday. talked with the guy, I had everything drawn out. He said, "Yep, no problem. We will call you next week." And I thought it was going to be Friday or maybe even the following week. They called me on Wednesday and said, "Your axles are ready. Come pick them up." And I picked them up on Thursday. It took me a week to get the axles. And these guys were absolutely loaded. Our axles are little puny things. They had huge, like, tractor pull axles. They're not very long. The tractor pull axles were probably yay long, but it was like a tree trunk out of, 4130 or whatever, just huge steel, forged pieces of steel. They were on a pallet. You got to pick them up with a forklift. I mean, they were massive, massive things. But it was really cool. They had dump trucks and stuff in there. They had all sorts of stuff, dragster axles and all this stuff. It was nuts. It was suggested turbo 3.8. Yeah, I don't know if I would put a turbo on the 3.8. If you had another 3.8 to mess with, try it out. But I wouldn't do it if that's your only ride. I wouldn't do it as that. That's like buying problems, and you don't want to buy problems. Yeah. Rock Auto is a good source because they have a variety and you can actually pick. So if you know the part you're looking for, they have the good, better, best, or daily, advanced, and racing, whatever you want to do. Rock Auto is not bad for that. Their shipping sucks. They charge out the ass for shipping. So that's the downside on Rock Auto. The good side is they offer a lot of options, and they're from OEMs. They're from, Shenzhen, China. They're from Germany. They're from Japan. They're from Australia, wherever. So you can pick, and you're obviously going to pay, you pay accordingly. So Rock Auto is not a bad place to do that, especially if you do a lot of shopping online. So, and also it's here's one more tip for you guys for racing stuff. Black Friday, great day to get deals on racing gear, helmets, suits, gloves, shoes, long underwear, all that stuff. Go to your favorite race place. Go to Solo Racer. Go to Safe Racer. Go to Summit, Jags, wherever. Check out helmets. Check out suits. Check out gloves, shoes. Shoes, gloves, and helmets are a big thing. Go check those out and score yourself something nice for Christmas. They have killer deals on Black Friday and usually throughout the weekend. So last year, Christmas present to myself, I got all new gear: helmet, gloves, shoes, gloves, suit, socks, long underwear. I got them from a few different places, but definitely the time to go score that stuff. And you can find some really hella deals out there. Yeah, dancing. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. It does. You order a brake rotor from Centric, and it's $12 to ship. If you order the exact same brake rotor, but it's a Brembo, it's $42 to ship. You're like, wait, what? But it's the same brake rotor. So yeah, I get your point on there. So yeah, again, thanks everyone for hanging out tonight. I appreciate it. Thanks for subscribing to the channel and telling your friends about it. Please pass the word around. We'll do a ton more of this stuff, and we'll actually have people working on cars in here, and we'll be putting parts on and taking parts off and doing stuff. Just not when it's 50 degrees in the shop and 21 degrees outside. We'll be doing cool stuff over the weekend. Plus, I just got back yesterday morning, so cut me some slack, right? I will definitely catch you guys tomorrow. I'm going to do as many of these as I can while I'm up here because I miss my toolbox. I really miss my toolbox. It's just so nice to stand next to it. Like, oh, this doesn't rotate as well as the other one. I miss my toolbox. I miss all my tools. Sad face. I'm working on it down there. I'm working on it in Florida. It's getting closer. So everything else is happier. Just I need this, and then I would be okay. Well, and a lot of that stuff and those scales and a lot of stuff in that cabinet and a lot of stuff in that cabinet. The lift would be nice. Anyway, you guys get the point. So yeah, I'll keep doing these while I'm up here. Hopefully we get early in the evening too. It's just tough to finish all the other stuff during the day, eat dinner, and then get out here. So I don't want to sit here and eat Little Caesars while you guys are expecting something cool. That's about it for tonight. So thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it. I love all the questions. I love interacting with you guys. Again, if you have any questions, comments, whatever, put them down there. Send them to me straight. However you want to do it, I'm good with that. I'm totally available. And don't forget to show someone that you love them today. Give them a kiss on the cheek. Give them a kiss on the tip of their nose. Hold their hand. Give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but it is far more important for you. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night, and I will catch you tomorrow. Awesome. Thanks.